Absolutely. When you present yourself or your ideas or you're doing something new, maybe you've got to do public speaking or something like that. I think
This
that
one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
So just to finish the last thought there, the game represents the point of view of a lecturer presenting to a class, and the classroom looking at the lecturer from that point of view. Obviously, they look at it and they look at somebody who they perceive as knowledgeable, in authority, there to teach them, and that's that experience. Of course, from the point of view of the lecturer, yes, they may feel confident, they may know their stuff, but they're still a human being, and even if there's no eye of Sauron behind them, they still might feel nervous. And maybe, if you can understand that, you're just part of the same experience, you're just another human being who can also feel nervous, that, maybe things aren't so bad. Maybe you could be the lecturer. You share the same fears and problems, so why not? Holy moly, hashtag profound. As you can see, I use comedy after most serious thoughts. Let's interpret that. Maybe later we have to go on stage. Okay, what a beautiful theater. Here we go. Nice lighting effects. We need a wall. Here is a wall. Okay. Okay, let's say something. I feel like I'm being set up. I feel like I'm being set up for a bad experience here, and maybe that's what Coda expects. When you go to talk to somebody who could be instrumental in giving you advice and helping you in your career, he expects it to go badly, so neither of the three options are that compelling. But hey, every conversation starts with a hello. I think it's a pretty normal standard response just to say hello when you meet somebody. So this voice saying you need to actually converse with her, be a human being, do it again. It seems like Coda's being kind of hard on himself here. Okay. Let's explain why I sound a bit awkward. I'm sure she's really nice. Okay, so of course the lady's unhappy with our response, but actually what that means is that Coda is unhappy with our response. However, since Coda coded this game, he gave us the only possible responses. So obviously we're replying to ourselves and giving ourselves our own replies, which are not good enough. This is a self-assessment. This is a criticism of oneself. Well, this is fun. Okay, Now, talk to her again. Right, so you must have worked really hard to get where you are. I'll bet you've learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? I really like how phrase number 2 sounds. I really like the sound of that. He's messing up a conversation with somebody important, and he's criticizing himself about that. And we've all done that. Here's our lamppost. Pretty insightful. I guess. Oh, Jesus.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Oh, come on, what are you...
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
No, I cannot agree with that being unhealthy. This is a person, however they're doing it, expressing themselves. Anyway, we're moving on quickly. I don't agree, Davey. He was expressing himself. Okay, next, Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Okay. I am genuinely closing my eyes. And 3, 2, 1, click. I can hear music, I can hear fire, damage, moving back, moving forward. Obviously there's nothing I can do except guess that I have a rough periphery or room I can move around while clicking left every so often. I genuinely have my eyes closed now. This is probably some Coda trick. I have no idea what's happening.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
Okay, I've opened my
eyes.
eyes.
And there is a solution, by the way.
Okay, 1, help, I'm blind. Oh, shit. What the hell? We have like a few seconds. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, let's go. Come on. The door is coming. Option 2. Option 2. Anyone? Does anybody know what to do? You people are the worst crew. Oh, this guy has to be it. Yes, yeah. Oh, I get the options wherever I go, so that's fine. Oh, bugger. Oh, fuck. Nope. Okay, so okay, option 3. Okay, option 3 again. Just going to keep pressing option 3. And option 3 again. Nope. Splattered by the door.
Alright, let me explain how you're supposed to do this.
Would you please?
On either side of the room are elevators,
Got
which
it.
go up to an upper level.
Yes, I've got
You
that.
have to go up, walk over to the person who's standing there, and then select dialogue option number 2.
Thanks, Davey, but we almost had it.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Right, but I'm sure you're talking to him outside of the games. Unless, of course, and I'm sorry for this, this is just a great story. Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay, well, I will answer these questions as if it was me talking. So I will do what Coda has done and give you a little bit of me. That's what she said.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I don't know. Did you ask him outside of the video game? I'm sorry. I know it's terribly immersion breaking, but that's what I really feel. I mean, I have to be honest. And I really think that compared to the phone section at the end of the prison and the house cleaning section, I don't know. This one feels a little more produced, and I feel like, and this is not a problem, it's just an observation that I'm being shepherded towards a produced story, and that there probably isn't a Coda. I'm sorry. You watch my videos for honesty. I'm not going to do jump scares or fake crying, you know.
And just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Okay, so can you tell me how to do it? First you have to close the door, first you have to open the door, first you press the switch. Well, the first step is you must open the door. Interesting that we have to solve the puzzle, but not by clicking, just by pressing the correct number. Oh! Just in time. Oh no, that cancelled it. Okay, so you have to close the door and then be fast enough to get past it. We have to close the door. It's not closed, it's open. Oh, they mean the fire door. Alright. The that that's an actual bug rather than a coded bug, because the door was already opened. We had to say open it, but we had already done that. So, and now you have to close the first door. So option number 1. Let's duck inside. There we go. Well, I just press the switch. Simple. And let's leave.
Can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Yeah. A good point. And I suppose I do now start to come to the realization that we are probably being shepherded through a constructed story rather than any kind of real life event. And again, that's okay. That is okay. It's just feels slightly disappointing. However, if we keep our attention on what the game produces, how it makes us feel, then, you know, maybe that's okay. A funny comment on work and difficulties, especially for the current, my own generation and the up and coming generation as well, is that it's important to be ultra positive, and it's important to, you know, think of it in the workplace, think of it in the office when someone's come to you and asked you, how are you doing? How are you? Do they want to hear, you know, do they want to hear the bad stuff? Do they want to hear, you know, hey, I have this problem, my car's broken down, I don't have enough money to fix it, you know, my dog needs an expensive operation? Or do they want the standard, how are you? Yes, it's good. I think it's a comment this on work pressures. And you can see the wall starting to come down.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.